100. What is my stop loss? Even I lose my entire option, that's $350 versus your $1,600. So I could lose many times of $350. Then you lose 10% of your $16,000 of that 1,000 share of stock. That's the power of option. Okay, leverage. Okay, yes, AJ.
But sometimes people forget if they're not looking at the deadline coming up, the time decay,
Right.
and suddenly it becomes your option.
Well, that's why you only want to look at 1 or 2 trades. That you don't want to look at too many. You may not be able to keep up all that. So I tend to get out my trade at least like one week before it expires, or even more longer than that. I don't want to wait until the end. If you hope that the stock will turn in the last week, on the last day, you're taking a chance. For now, I don't want to take chances. I just want to capture my profit and just go to the next one. Instead of trying to maximize my gain, I just want to capture enough amount. Capture enough. If imagine if you only make like, I don't want to say 187, but if you make about 50% on each trade, that's a lot of money, right? Yep. Consistently now, about $500, you make 50%, $250. I mean, until you gain enough confidence that, hey, I can, instead of 500, maybe I can do 1,000. Let's say your trading capital is getting bigger. You can do that. See, my risk capital is even lesser than your stop loss. Okay? Okay, so that's my portion. So hope that you enjoyed it. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much. Okay, we talked about in this class, what we're studying is art. It's not science. I thought about it, and it's even more difficult than art. Because if you're doing pottery, I can stand behind you and I can guide you with symmetry to form whatever you want to form. If we're doing a painting, we're looking at color, symmetry, we're looking at something that we can do physically to create a painting. We're talking about scanning now, and there is nothing, because it's an individualized thing, it's invisible. And I was thinking about this because I thought about showing you what I do, but that's not going to help us. That won't help us. Because every one of you is going to do it your own way. You have to develop your own ideas, which is what's so difficult about this. And think about it. Every decision that a person finally makes, I don't care how intelligent they are, I don't care how much research they've done on any subject, eventually, when they make that final choice, it's an emotional decision. So it's coming either from their heart or their gut, their spirit, if you will, but they're not trained. They don't have any experience doing this. They're pretty much flipping a coin and they're hoping that what they're going to say is true. In a lot of cases it is. But for them to reproduce this and reproduce it and reproduce it, pretty slim, if you're not training yourself. I said that we can start training ourselves by calibrating ourselves. Okay? But like every story, there is more to the story than what I've said. Okay, let me give you an example. I was talking to a student today, and we had an idea about what we could do to help her. So we suggested that she come up with, she has her true name, and she has a false name, and she put those on a strip of paper, I believe, and then put them in envelopes, one of 2 envelopes. So one had the true name, one had the false name. By using her technique of scanning, she was able to find her correct name. And then she goes to a stock that she already got an answer for, and she did the same technique on that stock. She changed her answer. Well, the new answer was wrong, even though she was correct in calibrating herself. Why? Give me some reasons why. Why could that possibly happen? I'm taking you into the pitfalls of all of
Because
this.
fear could interrupt, rather than a name, there's no risk.
Very good. Excellent. Could be fear, right? Instead of choosing from here, we may arbitrarily, rather than realizing it, choosing from here or here. That's possibly one idea. It's a good idea. Any other ideas? Anything else?
Maybe attachment to the name?
Could be. Could be. certainly attachment to being right or wrong. Right? Possibly being very neutral with the names, because you had nothing to lose, and now you're going to a stock where, even though we're not putting any money on it, we are putting our egos on it. And now things can switch that quickly. You're correcting your calibration, now we somehow change something, going from calibration to doing a quick yes or no answer. Things can shift that quickly. So you can calibrate and calibrate and calibrate and calibrate, and calibrate some more. And then you're going to you're going to make your decision, and you're going to change because now your ego and everything else is on the line. And you can switch. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've done things like that over the past 5 years. I can't even begin to tell you how I made my choice. I thought I developed even a better system than what I just did. Went back and did exactly what the student did, and got a different answer, and 90% of the time, I was wrong. First answer is generally correct. The problem is our ego, our fear, our angers get in the way, and even though you're calibrating and calibrating, you've got to now go the next step and get into the system that you're doing and test that now, and test that, and test that. So that now you can go from calibration to whatever you're going to test, and you can be neutral in that testing, and you can reproduce both of those on a consistent way. Do you understand this? Do you understand?
I do.
Okay?
I think the neutrality is what's the
Right.
key.
Right. Okay, let me give you the example. I'll go back over the same example. Okay, I have my name and a false name in 2 sets of envelopes. 1 in each. Okay, if I'm thinking about my name, maybe I don't have any attachment to it. Whether I get it right or wrong, I don't know. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So I have nothing to lose or gain. I have no emotion in the game. I have no ego in the game because I got nothing to lose. So I pick an envelope, and 50% chance I could be right. Okay, maybe I could do it a couple of times, one after the other. Okay. So now I go over to, in this case, a stock. And now I'm looking at that stock and I'm beginning to bite my nails. I'm beginning to wonder now, I can't even remember my own name now. And now I'm going to ask myself, and I've done this, I do this all the time if I'm not careful. Now I'm going to try to do the same thing there on that stock, and I think I've got the same attitude. But you have to practice that too. You got to practice every part of this. Every part of this.
Isn't belief kicking in there somewhere? Because what occurred to me is instead of a neutrality with the 2 names, I think if it had been me, I think at some level I'd have a little bit of confidence. I would think I would be attracted. I would have the belief that I would naturally be attracted to the one. I mean, my belief system would help me be confident. Whereas if I didn't have what I would call confidence, and my belief system would actually cause that fear, I guess. It really comes back to maybe fear or whatever, but how does belief and confidence play a part?
Very good question. Again, it's a balancing act, and every person is different, which is why this is so tough. But again, I'll go to my experiences. Generally, I'm best if I'm neutral.
Okay.
Generally, if I start getting confident, overly enthusiastic, I have to be very careful because there's a line, there's a range here. The range is I'm entering this with abject fear or anger. That's one side of the equation. The other side is I'm very confident, I know what I'm doing, I've got the answers, and I'm enthusiastic to the point where I'm almost cocky. In either case, you're going to get burned.
Okay.
Okay? I don't care, because I don't care how little you think you know, I guarantee you the next time or the next time or the next time you persist, you will get the right answer. I don't care how much you think you know. I guarantee you the next time you do or you go into this technique of scanning with that type of confidence, you'll be wrong. okay? I mean, this is the way God uses, I believe, to keep us somewhere in here so that we're in check. We have to be in check, because giving you this ability, the ability that you have, and bringing it out of you, it is a profound obligation to use it correctly. And what I kept saying, and keep saying to all of us, is if we misuse it in any way, either from fear or anger, or we get overly cocky in what we're doing, and we think we don't need any support or guidance, we're going to fail. We fail. This is why I have no problems with teaching you this, because you'll have to stay somewhere in between. And you'll have to figure out where that is for you. Okay? You'll have to figure that out. And if you can approach it similarly, each and every time, you've got a good chance of being successful. This is a lifelong experience. This is not something you're going to do tomorrow and expect to get it right the rest of your life. AJ?
It seems easier to be neutral about someone else's issues. If you're looking at stuff for yourself,
Right.
how do you remain neutral?
Well, the only thing I can tell you is we practice. We practice, and we keep practicing, and we keep practicing. Until we don't want to practice anymore, we keep it up again. Okay? I don't know how else to do it. I mean, you may have a better idea for you. This is what works for me. Okay? But I'm telling you, on either side of this, because I can't even begin to tell you how many times I wanted to give this up, but then the next time, just that next time, I'd go for a week or more and get everything correct. Just when I was ready to give up. Okay? And then when I thought I had all the answers, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Okay? So what I'm asking you to do is, you have to create your format for yourself, which is why this is so difficult, and why otherwise this would have been done by people for thousands of years, if it was that easy. Okay? You must find your range. You only find that range by experimenting, testing, and testing. Calibration is one part of the situation. Okay? Now, are there any good stories here coming from the 5 steps that we have, prosperity? Anything that you've been doing? Are there any, maybe a few questions I can answer, because I want to get you into scanning tonight, calibrating yourself tonight. Any stories? Anything that's good that you want to share? Nothing?
I got my job.
Well,
I got a job. I haven't had a permanent job for over 4 years. It's really great.
Wonderful.
these techniques to help the process.
Well, this is from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, jobs started popping up long before he refined. I mean, it was really from the beginning of just kind of like a picture board. But how did we start? We started with just meditating, energy rotating, with thinking about what we really wanted, and really simple, in gratitude, nothing much, just kind of spent some time on it. And part-time jobs came up, and different things kept coming up. I turned down a full-time job, because I was like, oh, that's really not right. And I really felt like I could do the right thing, not because I was overwhelmed with offers and was too confident. I just knew it was the wrong thing, and it's just like I didn't have to take it. I didn't feel like I had to take it. And so then this job, I've been working for these people for 4 years, actually, and my manager said, I want to hire you, this job's coming up, blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't expect this, I had to go through 6 interviews. And I competed with people from the outside for this job, and I still got it, so.
Good work. Good work.
It's really, yeah, I just think it was really, I mean, just the way everything happened, it definitely worked.
Yeah. Anyone else? Please.
Well, I don't know why I get so nervous when I do this. I mean, to the point I thought the tea was poison. I thought I was going to die of a heart attack. I don't know why. I mean, I get so nervous to the point I couldn't do it, couldn't continue.
You mean doing the 5 steps?
Yeah. Or trying to make a prediction, or pick a stock, or pick which side of the coin is the correct one. You know.
Okay. Well, you're not alone in this. You're not alone in this. Any ideas why that could happen? Well, think about what we just said.
She's too much attached to it.
Got it. In some way, shape, or form, there's a great deal of attachment there. Or judgment, or criticism, or something going on. That's too much. Now, how do you get past that? Practice, 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 until you become neutral. And keep going through those steps, those 5 steps, and keep doing the whole thing. I don't know how else to do it right now. That's helped me. Yes.
I do think that the relaxation aspect of it is essential.
Yeah. It does help. It does help. It does help. And whether you're neutral or you're slightly enthusiastic, somewhat confident, I found either of those 2 qualities works well for me. It's just that when I know, without any doubt, that's the right answer, without any doubt, guess what?
Right.
Right. Right. Okay.
I used it on something that is very ridiculous today.
Such as.
Do tell.
Well, I went to pick up some work from a client, and I then had about 30 minutes, and I was close to my favorite health food store in Snyder Plaza
Okay.
that has really good yogurt.
Right.
And I really wanted some yogurt
Right.
because I had to go to a meeting, and I didn't have time to eat.
Okay.
And so I drove around, and I don't know if you've ever tried to get a parking place at Snyder Plaza. Anyway, I drove around a couple of times, and I said, angels help me in this and that. And so I finally said, okay, Spirit, if I'm supposed to have yogurt, find me a parking place, because I don't have enough time to go around again. And I went around, and then right just on the opposite side from the health food store is my parking place.
I like that.
And then I got to the next place I was, and I drove around, and I got a parking place just across the street from where I was going in Preston Center. But I really did it with my concentration on Spirit.
Very good. Very good.
And I really think that's what helps me, is thinking of being in total dependence of
Right.
Spirit.
But she also is accepting of not getting the yogurt.
Yes.
as well. No, I mean,
Yes.
seriously, it's
Yeah,
like
once you
detached,
know.
like it's either gonna happen or it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah.
No.
And before that, when I was driving around and couldn't find a parking place, I was very attached to getting my yogurt.
I want to be between you and your yogurt. I can guarantee you. Good. It's a good story. I'll give you one quick story for myself here. A couple of days ago, I needed to call someone quickly. I couldn't find their name, and I didn't want to go through everything just to get their phone number again. I pick up this pile of papers that are in my house, because I'm putting everything in so I can come here. And out of this big pile of papers that were there, without even thinking, I pick it up, one paper drops to the floor,
That's the one.
name and phone number right there.
Wow.
Okay? So every time I've needed something over the last several months, I don't care what it's been, I don't care what I've needed, within moments, the answer is appearing or something is appearing to give me what I need very quickly. That's what I'm seeing,
When
consistently.
you're asking for it.
When I'm asking for it.
Right.
That I need it, I need it, I need it. For some reason, I don't have a chance to get to it, and sure enough, someone calls, there it is. It's amazing how it appears consistently. Now, I know that's God telling me that, Gary, just hold on, I'm here all the time watching you, right? And there's plenty here to help you, just relax. Okay, I know without doubt, because I haven't seen things like this ever, this frequently, this consistently, never. Okay, so we're guided. We are definitely guided. The Spirit is working with the invisible. It's trying to help us. We have connection. Okay, now, let's play a little bit with the time we have now with some of the work that we'll do tonight. Scan. Sherry, can I have you? Okay, so we're going to pretend we're going to have partners again like we did last week. I'm going to ask you, whomever you had as a partner last week, please go to another person, okay? But here's what we did last week for those of you who weren't here. Okay, we'll have 2 people. Each one of us has a sheet like this, okay? So my partner has that sheet, I've got the same sheet. Now let's say my partner has something that she wants me to shuffle. So let's say she has a pair of keys that she wants me to shuffle, and she's going to determine, well, I'll shuffle them, so you'll give me the keys, okay? Your back will be facing me. Okay, I'll have my eyes closed. Now this could be a pair of bottle caps, this could be coins, I don't care what it is, you can even put a letter if you want, or a number on a pair of cards here. I don't care what you're doing for this, but I would take her keys, for example, and I would shuffle them up. I'm not looking at them. I don't want to know anything about what I'm doing. I don't want to influence her in any way, shape, or form. So I just shuffle them up a little bit, and then without looking, I put them down here on the AB. And then she's looking at AB right here. Okay? She knows that she knows that the key that she wants is either on the A or B side, of course. So I'm using that for her so she can focus in on that and see if she can pick it up from here. Okay? Do you see what we're doing? Does it make sense what we're doing? Okay? So I give her a few moments. She senses any way she wants. She can lean, she can muscle test, I don't care what she does, to try to get an answer as to where her key lies. Is it on A or B? Now last week we brought this point up. A and B can be yes, no's. They can be a yes or a no. It's the same exact thing. Okay? I want to get you to the point of being able to make a good prediction for a yes and a no. Okay? Is it clear what I'm asking you to do? Okay? So, for those of you that were here last week, find other partners. For those of you who weren't here last week, try to work with someone who was here last week. And let's go for, let's see in 15 minutes if we can do 5. So each person, she would do 5, I would do 5. Okay. Any comments, any questions about what just happened? Guys, hey, any comments, any questions?
I'm influencing her average. She was getting better, but I think after she didn't repeat.
Well, that could actually happen too. That could actually happen. Anyone get 5 out of 5?
It wasn't you when we did it.
Anyone get 5 out of 5? Good, very good. Excellent. Lori, how did you do it? How did you get 5 out of 5?
I'm like 5 out of 5.
Hey, ladies, please, how did you get 5 out of 5?
I just tried to attune, I tuned myself to, what I call, God's will.
Okay. Meaning what? Meaning what?
I just, first of all, while she was shuffling, I would just kind of do a double check of clearing and bringing in light and cleansing, and being very, very thankful for all of the blessings of and information or whatever. Just being very, very thankful for the presence of that divine guidance.
Okay. How did you sense the answer? What did you use? How did you sense it?
Well, when I looked at the paper, the letter just popped out.
Okay.
It was dark and it came closer, and the other one just almost faded out.
Okay.
And I knew it even twice before she did it.
Okay.
She wasn't even ready, and I knew.
Right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Anyone else get 5 out of 5? Anyone get 4 out of 5? Dan, did you get 5 out of 5?
I got 4 out of 4 for the second round, but I used my pendulum. 4 out of 4 with the pendulum.
Okay, so 4 out of 4 with the pendulum. So you used the pendulum. And how did you know the answer?
I asked, show me what a good reflection I'm going to know looks like.
Okay.
And so in this case, since I had 2 options, I just said pendulum show me, I'm seeking quarter label number 1 for Shelley labels. I said, looking for, is it under A? And I just asked one simple question, and it kept showing me yes, and just happened to be landing on the same one.
Okay. Okay, very good. Anyone else get 4 out of 5? Anyone else? All of you did well. This is not easy. This is not easy. So you all did well. Some people did exceptional, but you all did well. The point is, there are a couple of things I want to have you keep in mind. Number 1 is, can you do this on a regular basis? Can you repeat this? If you're getting 3, 4, 5 out of 5, can you repeat that consistently? Can you turn it on when you want to? That'll take practice. That'll take practice. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is, no matter how you did, tomorrow if we were to redo this, I think we'd see other people getting 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and things may shift again. Okay. Please, however you've done, remember what I just said. I don't care where you are or you think you are in this spectrum. You know a lot more than you're giving yourself credit for. It's very important to stay neutral, and it's also very important to stay creative. Danny used the pendulum. He was creative, okay? If you're leaning in a certain way, you may want to think in your mind perhaps more creatively. If you're not getting things correctly, is there something else I can do perhaps that would give me at least another chance at getting a correct answer? This is an art, but it goes beyond art because now we're not using colors or form, we're using creativity to get to where we want to go. The more creative you are in thinking about this, and I'm telling you, if you're on this end of the spectrum or that end, you can't be creative because you either think you're completely failed or you think you know everything. You've got to stay somewhere in the middle so you can be creative. That's the trick here, is to be creative.
Well, when I was on the fourth one, since they kept landing on the same slide, my mind automatically said that can't be
Right.
But I said we're going to stick with what the pendulum said that it was right.
Right. And that'll happen all the time. That'll happen all the time, too. I mean, that's part of it. But it's, whether you're completely wrong or completely right, all this is a mind game. It's part of the creativity. It's why I purposely asked you to work with another person to feel that pressure. Okay? And I've added to the pressure at different times because I want you to feel this. Because no matter what I've done or what anyone else will do, it will never be as bad as when it's just you, and now it's you making that final choice when you're all by yourself and now something's on the line. I can never put that much pressure on you. You'll do it yourself. Okay? The only way around it is you stay creative within this range, you practice, and you keep to your source. You know, the only one who has all the answers is God and our spirit. We're just a conduit. That's all we are. That's the best we can do. Okay? And the more we purify brain and heart to work with that conduit, we're going to be correct. It's as simple as that. Any other questions? Anything else? I hope you will give yourself a hand right now. Please give yourselves. You did very well. You did very well. Good job. Okay, so how about if we...